They like sole source this, which is pretty jokes. Like, so as a person who used to sell in universities and colleges, that drives me absolutely batshit crazy that they could do a 16 point whatever $1 million annually recurring purchase that didn't go to an RFP process. Yeah. Like, there are tons of AI companies in California. This is like the mecca of AI. Like, that's just stinks of the president said we need to do something on this.
Start it up. Let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wide. Turn that grind into a joyride.
All right, so this is episode 25. My working title for it is From Calculators to ChatGPT, Why AI in the Classroom Isn't So Different.
Can I offer that you got this title from ChatGPT, possibly?
It was one of many suggestions that, remember, I said working title too.
Yeah, well, it's pretty bad. So let's move on from that one.
Oh, great. AI gave me title
Mine
slop.
was, your titles. Mine was 500,000 students, one chatbot. OpenAI meets Cal State. Sounds like a really shitty movie.
It'll be swell.
Yeah. It'll be, everyone's gonna have a great time. Yeah. All right. Boom.
All right.
Chris, tell me about what they're doing at Cal State and why it disturbs you.
Okay.
I don't know if it disturbs you.
I don't know if it does disturb me.
Well, we're going to find out.
We'll see how I feel at the end of this episode.
Agree to disagree.
So Cal State is paying OpenAI $16.9 million for ChatGPT
Peanuts.
Edu for 460,000 plus students and staff.
Okay.
Kind of cool. All right.
Pretty good deal. Whoever negotiated that, I like it. Good for them.
Yeah. It's the world's... Oh, wait. You won't like it in a sec.
Okay.
So this is the world's largest rollout of ChatGPT. So kind of cool.
Well, kind of a weird comment. I mean, like millions
like their biggest, no, but it's like their biggest deal. You know, like
it's their biggest institutional sale or B2B sale. Good for them.
Yeah. I wonder. Anyway, so
they didn't go to RFP.
What's kind of
I'll
interesting.
answer your question. They didn't go to RFP for this.
They didn't.
No, it's the whole thing. I'll talk about
I know. Okay, so
I'm actually with the faculty on that, but anyway, it's fine.
This is where we're going. So, California community colleges got a similar AI chat services from Google for 2.1 million users for free.
So again, back to the genius sales guy here at Cal State. Oh, yeah, you're going to get a way better version than them. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. That was
we hear they got it for free. Why aren't we getting it for free? Well, I mean, the early bird gets the worm.
So California community colleges got Google's AI versus
So okay,
Cal
so then they made it their argument of differentiation. Like seriously, like great sales pitch. But anyway,
exactly.
We get that guy on the phone or gal on the phone. Whoever made that deal, like seriously, good for them. Not the free one, the paid one.
So if you do the math on it, works at like $37 per user for Cal State and $0 for California community colleges.
No, that second math was pretty tough, eh?
Yeah. Public math. Keep me out of trouble, Dave.
Yes,
Anyway, so the question is like, did they get a good deal on this? And then the second question is like, all right, we're going down the road of this is like AI is in education and it's like a thing. And I feel like we've been here before with technology and education. Okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to say like, what is the parallels to previous technologies being implemented? Kind of a couple of them. The first one I think of is the calculator, which, in the 1970s and 80s, there was like the calculator panic, right? Because calculators just became affordable. Like people could go in and like, I think a big chunk of math class was doing like...
That is also like the lamest, most boring
I know.
panic of all time.
Now looking
What about the graphing calculator panic? X and Y.
Yeah. So obviously it seems silly now looking back at it, which is interesting because maybe we will look back on the AI panic or introduction of AI into education as being like, oh wow, that was way overblown. But it was a big deal. So back then, teachers were worried students would lose basic math skills Oh man, there's public math. Maybe we have.
Maybe it's already happening.
Yeah. Concerns that students wouldn't understand math concepts, fear that students would become dependent on the technology. And, they had lots of debates about whether they should be banned, things like that, which is very similar to what's happening with AI as well. So we're kind of in that scenario. But like what actually happened was calculators became standard.
Yeah.
They were just like normal. Students still learn fundamental math concepts. Instead of spending time on tedious calculations, students could focus on like the actual problem solving, applications, stuff like that.
Well, like also in the real world, like you would have these tools. It's like when you go to school and you can't use Excel,
right?
And then the first thing you do is like, hey, great job getting all that education, being at school for like 23 odd years, 22 odd years. Here's Microsoft Excel. Forget everything you know.
So exactly. So math education, became about understanding over like rote memorization. Even later those graphing calculators, the X and the Y, became required for advanced math courses. Like part of the math course was actually knowing how to use that tech properly.
Force multiplier.
Yeah.
Right. Makes you better.
Yeah. So a couple of other examples, spell check. I remember
Force
that
multiplier.
was highly controversial as well. Actually, do you remember we had that typewriter thing when we were kids?
Yeah.
Like kind of before desktop computers or PCs were
you
like
are older than me.
You don't remember this, do you?
You're 10 years older.
Because our dad sold these things.
Electric typewriters.
Electric typewriters.
Yeah.
They were actually called word processors. Some of them had little like calculator displays and could do spell check.
Yeah, cool.
And other ones started coming out where they actually had like a screen, like one of those big CRT screens.
We're just thinking like a keyboard, but not like directly associated with a computer.
It was basically a computer, but it was like a very specific purpose. And like the printer was built right into it.
That's kind of cool, actually.
You would type it all out. It would show on the screen. Then you would hit like enter, and then it would like all the keystrokes and put it on the paper. So anyways, really
somebody
weird.
listening to this is like super vibing right now.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Right. So that was one, like the spell check. Then obviously internet, Google. I know that was a big thing
Googling
when
things.
we were going like when I was doing going through university, and then even like Wikipedia.
I was going to say Wikipedia was a big one probably for me, but particularly in my university years, it's like you can never source Wikipedia, for example.
So the way these things kind of go is there's initially the panic resistance, then experimental adoption, okay, then it's like integration, and then normalization, and then sort of like an evolution. So where are we in that right now? We're kind of in the panic resistance and kind of getting into the experimental adoption here with this Cal State thing.
First off, let's go back to the deal. Bad deal.
Okay.
Other people got it for free. And also it's ChatGPT. Like everybody has it. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like you can get a free version of ChatGPT right now. Like what are we talking about? Like, do you really need, like, I was just reading that it has like institutional benefits. Like they're integrating it with a single sign-on. There's actually a custom code in this deal, single sign-on piece, some enterprise security piece. Like, so there was some sort of like oversight committee. Clearly, like I know how these deals work, and they got pushed on certain things, and they said, sure, for $16 million, be happy to do it. But I still think it's a bad deal. I don't think. Like why like there's so many free AI tools right now. You're
probably already on Google Workspace.
They're already using. If you
that,
Google anything, you get Gemini. And it's not great, but it's there. Like, I don't know. Part of me just kind of feels, like that's the other thing too. I feel like what about Copilot and all the random ones for Windows? Like there's like layers and layers of AI LLM tools that they could use. So bad deal. I don't think it's a good deal for the school on a financial basis. I think it's kind of a waste of money. You may as well just give every student a $20 rebate, and then they can go and use that to get whatever AI tool they want. Like, why the hell do they have to do this? But whatever, it's fine. Great institutional sale. Kudos to the sales team. Second piece, is this hype or not? Or like fear hype, or what I'm talking about. This is a bad thing or not? No, I think there are two sides to this. I'm going to lay it out, and then I'll tell you how I feel. So I feel like on the one side, people are going to use AI tools. Period. Like this is the inevitable. All industries, including education, and the way we do education have to change based on the nature of sort of like a practical sort of piece to this. And of course, we're going to be super practical. You and I, being business people, being startup founders, also having business education, which is a highly practical degree, like professional degree, like. For us, it's like, well, of course, they better change education to be more fitting to this.
Right.
So to me, that kind of makes a lot of sense. I have no issues with that. However, I do see the other flip side of this where these tools will be misused.
Yeah.
And so I suppose the effort here would be to have sort of like, I would hope that on the enterprise level for these students there and faculty and staff, there are guardrails around how they can use the AI tools.
Right.
The only problem is, like, even if there are guardrails in like their instance,
yeah.
they're just going to pop out and
Yeah.
go to Claude and
How
ask
do you
it something
enforce
else.
that?
Yeah, like exactly. Right. So
yeah. So
and also we have this is also on the backdrop, right, of this California, like they actually we talked about the first law that they passed around penalties for AI companies on, you know, and oversight and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They passed the second law around actually consumer protection, which is great. We haven't done an episode on that, but they did some pretty good stuff to avoid this generation being sort of experimented on by AI companies.
right.
But I do think that, like, I don't really, this doesn't seem to marry to that in a way that I see as meaningful. Like, I just don't really get it. Like, these tools are going to get used. It's going to have to happen. I don't see why they had to buy it. And will people misuse it? Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Is it
All things are true is where I'm at.
Is Cal State's purchase of this partly marketing? Is it partly
Yes.
to get the students
Absolutely.
and the parents that
What do
really
they call
want
it?
their kids to know how to use AI effectively? Is it to attract them to that school?
It's CSU's ambition is to become the first AI powered university system. They want to be the first. Definitely. I see that. They probably look at then, okay, so then what? Was this deal done through the marketing department? Like, did they see that, oh, hey, we can just spend $16 million and be the first AI driven system in the United States?
Yeah.
Okay. I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Well, we're talking about it.
Yep.
People are talking about it. So,
yeah. Maybe you're right. That's a good point.
And actually, you know what I remember? I remember back when I went to university, the commerce program at Queen's University was the first one to like kind of make it so that every commerce student had to have a laptop. Okay. And big uproar because those were expensive pieces of equipment. Okay. For students to purchase and still are. But they went ahead and did that. And that made them kind of like an innovator in business education and kind of put them at the forefront. So I can totally see this as being, hey, Cal State's saying, hey, you know what? We're the AI leaders. We're going to train people using AI and how to use AI. And that puts us head and shoulders above our competitors, which is other universities.
What I think is kind of interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. And I also think, though, let's consider the kind of school that CSU is for a second. These state systems, right? They're going to have, like, I think about like the A&M system in Texas, which we did a lot of business with, like very spread out, right? Like there's the main school, but then there's like Texas A&M, you know, whatever, and here and there, and all these different locations. Right. One thing I thought was kind of interesting about this is that they're going to see cool applications of AI in like rural settings that maybe wouldn't have access to this or like wouldn't consider it as something to really bring into the education for those particular students.
Yeah.
So I do think there's some value there. Oh, didn't see you there. I'm just reading Startup Different, my book to help you get to your multi-million-dollar business. You can find it on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Might actually be exposing people to these tools who otherwise maybe wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for us to, this crazy because we're so in this. It's hard for us to imagine somebody not embracing an AI tool, right? And being like, what can I get? What can I get out of this? How can it be more productive?
Yeah.
But there's actually, I think, potentially a majority of people that are like, this is just the thing that's going to take my job. But now if you're a student, you're like, okay, well, this is a program or this is an institution that believes in this, that will make this in these tools that can make me better.
Yep.
And if I'm in these environments where maybe I wouldn't have used it instead, maybe it'll actually give them a material advantage. Like, it might actually make the students more innovative.
Right. So kind of raising the bar
because
the expectations.
Because they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't use it otherwise.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's really what I think the biggest benefit will be. The bar will be raised very high. So expectations from faculty on students' work, things like that, they're going to have to produce some really impressive stuff, and they're going to have to really know that material really well. Like, you know, one of the, as we know, we've done episodes of the podcast on like work slop or AI work slop. Okay. Like, faculty members aren't going to want to deal with that. Okay. They're not going to want to just let you write a prompt and then copy and paste and submit that as your assignment. They're going to push you to really try and innovate using the AI and get to some place
and keep thinking
incredible
and all
keep
that.
thinking.
Yeah.
So, but like there will be fits and starts on this. They will mess this up. They will rethink it and they will try again. It's just going to take a while, I think, to figure out how it actually fits into the education system, how it fits into the pedagogy. Big word.
Wow.
I know.
Triple word score.
Yeah, I know.
Very
I know.
nice.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that's where they're going with this. It's a big marketing push. It's to show that they're leaders in that field. And then they're not going to get it right at the beginning. They're going to rethink some things and they're going to run at it again. Now, I don't know how quickly they're going to be able to do that. If that's next year or it takes a few years before they sort of figure out some of these things, but hopefully they're evaluating how it's working and going back to it.
I think there's the one thing that I agree with you. And the one thing I think that's kind of interesting too, is that when some of the complaints about this are that the faculty and people like weren't really like consulted on this purchase. They like sole source this, which is pretty jokes. Like, so as a person who used to sell in the universities and colleges, that drives me absolutely batshit crazy that they could do a 16 point whatever $1 million annually recurring purchase.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, like however that's structured, but like a big, really humongous purchase that didn't go to an RFP process, that didn't go through all that. Like there are tons of AI companies in California. This is like the mecca of AI. Yeah. And they're like, man, we'll just go right for it. Like that's just stinks of the president said, we need to do something on this. I don't know why they're also Richard Nixon. Absolutely a rapist. But but to me, it's just like that kind of drives me nuts. And so I think there's a really valid point here on like, this is really getting like dropped on a lot of that university, which I think is unfortunate. And I think complicated because all of a sudden now all these administrators have to figure this out. Now we do have an interesting insight in this that our brother is a professor and obviously like has to deal with ChatGPT and all these AI platforms as something that is a factor in the work being submitted to him. And he embraces it though. And I thought this was an interesting strategy. He's just like, well, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of the complaints are, well, this is going to make people like dumber. They're not going to critically think. They're not going to, they're going to submit the work slop. They're going to do this stuff. And I think what's fascinating to me is like, that could happen anyway. That will happen anyway. So I do kind of think like, well, you kind of got to get with the program for some of these faculty members for this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Maybe there's like specific programs where it's like not advantageous.
Right.
I don't know, maybe like a design program or like, I'm trying to think of like what is something that would be
helpful,
right?
Like I don't know, a lot of things, right? But like, so let's go back to the calculator. They had to kind of like redesign math problems more around like requiring your understanding rather than just being able to do the steps. Right. Do the
arithmetic of the calculus or whatever.
So I think part of the challenge is going to be the faculty figuring out, okay, like how do I structure this so that I actually know that the student knew what I was talking about and was able to like generate the right prompts, get the right outputs from the AI, but then also come up with something unique that they're contributing to it. So I think that's really interesting because you can't, we're not just like obviously being able to create really good prompts for AI is going to be a skill that
context engineering.
Context engineering.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Yeah.
We don't say
we're on the wave. Let's go.
But that's going to be the challenge is how do you actually structure the assessment so that you know that the student's actually getting some of it out of it. Out of the AI.
I mean, they should probably ask AI. It'll help. It'll tell them how to do it. Well, I do wonder if it is some degree of like you're trying to like the questions being something like you're trying to figure out this problem. Use this prompt in your AI tool.
Yep.
And you use the prompt and they go, what do you think of that assessment? Where do you, or the AI, like it's almost like, that next level of thinking. I was listening to something like, or actually it was probably related to our work slap episode a few weeks ago or months ago. And it was like, where you end up losing is when the AI is making the decisions, making the strategic calls. So it would be interesting to think of that the education is more higher order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh no, like you have to make these decisions. You have to figure this out. And these are complex problems. You have this really good assistant.
Yeah.
But you are still having to make strategic decisions. And that's your grade based on that.
Absolutely.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I ran the idea across our brother of saying, well, like, what if like anything that goes towards your grade, you're having to do it on paper. You can't use AI or something.
No,
And he was just like, nah.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like we have
remember
tests
like
with calculators. Like you can bring your calculator in. So he's like, no, your AI.
It's so
is
impractical
like
to be
your
like, oh, you
calculator.
can't use it for this
Yeah.
because the real world you're going to use it.
Yeah.
The other thing too is remember I took didn't do so well in them, but I took some computer science classes at Queens.
Yeah.
And I remember like you had to write the code with a pencil on paper. Like it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, we had to do that.
It's
too.
so dumb. Like
really
why?
dumb.
You'd never do that in real life.
Go on the internet and look.
Yeah, because you can
go to Stack Overflow.
Like they should be testing
figure out
you
how
and
to
be
do
like, this is the problem. It's complex. You have an hour to figure it out. Go.
Yeah.
Here's the internet. Here's AI. Here's all these things.
So
Make the best
think
solution.
about the question they were asking me back, 25 years ago when I was doing those exams, okay, that I had to write out the code. Now think about the question that the professor is going to ask me if I have AI sitting next to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I think part of it is the burden on the instructor, the faculty member is pretty high because now you've got to try and sort of separate who's actually learning, who's not learning. And, how do you assess? So here, let me come back to the calculator question. Just sort of say your hot take. Is the calculator analogy fair? Or is it completely different now? Like we've said this a lot with AI, is it completely different in this situation?
No, I think
than
it's
what we've looked at in the past.
I actually think this one's pretty consistent. It's another tool. It's a really, really powerful tool. It's a calculator on steroids, but it works. It's a calculator for every kind of class.
For any question.
For any question ever. Yeah. But it's not like, a couple of things here. Like it's not always right.
Yeah.
Is the first thing. AI is not always right. Secondly is like, it can structure a pretty shitty response. Like you still need to independently think and understand what's happening.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally convinced. Like it's more complicated.
Yeah.
I do think it's a similar parallel.
Yeah.
And I think you can look at it as a good comparison.
Yeah.
But.
So as I prepped for this episode, I did use AI to help me look for some stuff. And I asked AI, like, what are some other things that would like destroy education? And they're kind of funny. You want to hear a few?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The printing press. Okay. Students won't memorize anything.
What?
Okay. I know. The next one is really good. Ballpoint pens.
Oh,
okay?
nice.
Because some schools banned them because it was damaging penmanship. Like, that really fancy cursive,
calligraphy.
Like with the, the quill.
Yeah, like
and
the like
ink,
a true pen, like with, I know what you're saying.
True penmanship. Yeah. Pocket calculators we cover. So word processors. Actually, that was like the devices that Dad sold. Spell check, Google, Wikipedia, and smartphones. Smartphones was more like the 2010s. And the argument there was just that they were like a distraction with learning, but which is totally accurate, by the way. I remember being in our MBA program and then
everyone praying to the placard in front of them.
Yeah, we used to joke it was like the BlackBerry prayers because everybody's down.
Yeah, their hands forward and they get the placard in front of them. So it's like, yeah, for sure.
That was brutal.
Like I think this is more of the same. I'm less worried about this.
Yeah.
The other thing is education. I fundamentally believe that the purpose of a lot of education is to teach people how to think. So I am concerned that AI can potentially, have a negative effect on that. But we're all aware of that. I think a lot of people are aware of that now. Yeah. Even if you do stuff with AI enough, you use an AI tool for long enough on a project or on a thing. Like I'm working on something, right? And I use it a lot. And you just get kind of like burnt out and get tired of how stupid it is sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's something to this where you're just like, it's not quite smart enough. Now this can change and everything. But I think the fundamental thing here is if an education system is teaching people how to understand a problem, how to attack a problem, and then offers you something as a force multiplier, I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, I do.
I also think you can't stop it.
I do find that it really does regurgitate things. The creativity piece is not really there in a lot of stuff. Like even prepping for these episodes, I'm trying to say to AI like, hey, help us talk about this, and and I'm saying, hey, what about this angle? And then of course it goes, wow, that's brilliant,
such a
so
genius.
smart. And I'm like, well, why didn't you suggest that?
Or it has blind spots. If you give it parameters that are overly narrow by accident, hey, I'm trying to do this thing, and I'm worried about X, Y, and Z, it'll answer and give you a good answer on X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But it won't think of anything else. It's not going to think outside of other like tangential risk there unless you ask it. is there something I'm missing? Is there something else with this? I'm a little worried about that. I don't understand this. Otherwise, it's just going to give you a nice answer, make you feel good about yourself, and send you on your way.
Yeah,
I think it's dangerous. It's actually dangerous because it's almost negative utility sometimes. It's one thing to give you the answer, but it gives you the answer you want to hear.
Yeah,
which is not what I want.
Yeah,
I want the accurate answer. I want the right information.
Yeah,
not the information that makes me feel good.
Yeah,
and it does that a lot. And I get mad at it. I'm like, God damn it, ChatGPT, give me the real answer here. Like, what is this? And so sorry, you caught me on that one. Like, shut up. Like,
I wish you'd tell us how you really felt.
Anyway, long story short here, like concluding this, I think it's a good thing. I am surprised. I think it's a bad deal for the school. I get the marketing piece.
Although you're very impressed with the sales rep that pulled this off.
Absolutely blown away. No, really, like salesperson of the year. But I think but then in terms of its implications and its application at the institution, I think that it's a good idea. It's the way of the future. They're going to use something anyway.
Yeah.
You may as well be equipping students to understand how to handle it and critically challenge it, as opposed to being like, oh, this is going to be terrible for us, and just running from it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Boom. Startup different. See ya. Hey.
Start it up, let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.